It is Thursday, June 26th.
This is The Warning.
This morning there was chaos in the Pentagon as the most unfit leader in the history of the American armed forces took to the podium and declared war on the American media. He demanded that reporters wave the flag. And waving the flag means, for Pete Hegseth, supporting whatever it is that Donald Trump does.
We're urging caution about premising entire stories on biased leaks to biased publications trying to make something look bad. How about we take a beat, recognize first the success of our warriors, hold them up, tell their stories, celebrate that, wave an American flag, be proud of what we accomplished. And in the meantime, I can assure you, the chairman and his staff, the intelligence community, our staff and others are doing all the assessments necessary to make sure that mission was indeed successful.
Because, let's face it, Pete Hegseth doesn't stand for the flag. Pete Hegseth stands for Donald Trump. Pete Hegseth has a warped and alien sensibility around American values and our ideas and ideals. That's why it's his signature on the deployment orders for the 7th Marines in Los Angeles. Pete Hegseth is a jingo, and he hates half the country, including a great many of the parents of America's enlisted soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. Pete Hegseth cannot be trusted. He is followed everywhere around the Pentagon by his wife, who is nicknamed by the brass and by the privates as Yoko Ono. She installed a makeup room for him, and supposedly she's there to keep him sober, to keep his zipper wicked, and to make sure that Pete Hegseth doesn't find his way to the boudoir of an admiral's wife while he's away on sea duty. Pete Hegseth is a clown, regarded as such by the men he leads, reviled across the military because he is an affront to the concepts of honor and integrity, decency, dignity, all of the core values. Leadership in the military is a moral proposition and has always been understood as such. And this morning, you fully understand why it is that Pete Hegseth has no moral authority whatsoever to lead the American military. And here's the deal with this attack. It failed. The question that was asked, do you know where the enriched uranium is, should have been followed up with the more important question. Did you know where the enriched uranium was before the attack? Because now we don't. Let's watch.
It's about highly enriched uranium. Do you have certainty that all the highly enriched uranium was inside the Fordo Mountain, or some of it, because there were satellite photos that showed more than a dozen trucks there 2 days in advance? Are you certain none of that highly enriched uranium was moved?
Of course, we're watching every single aspect, but Jennifer, you've been about the worst, the one who misrepresents the most intentionally. What the president says. I'm familiar.
Report about the ventilation shafts on Saturday night, and in fact, I was the first to describe the B-2 bombers, the refueling, the entire mission with great accuracy. So I take issue with that.
I appreciate you acknowledging that this was the first the most successful mission based on operational security that this department has done since you've been here, and I appreciate that. So we're looking at all aspects of intelligence and making sure we have a sense of what was where.
And here's another thing. The Iranian regime is a theocratic, apocalyptic dictatorship. It claims that God has ordained their leadership. So what happens when the countries that the Iranian theocratic dictatorship refers to as the Great Satan and the Little Satan, Israel, the Little Satan, the Great Satan, the United States, go all in, announce the obliteration of the Iranian nuclear program, but it survives? Does that strengthen the hand of the theocratic dictatorship who claims God's providence, or does it weaken it? The answer to the question is it strengthens the dictatorship. But of course, Trump is utterly ignorant about history, about the history of dictatorship, about religion, about Iran. And so baked in the juices of his ignorance, he has launched an attack, and his sycophants, like Alabama Senator, the Stepford Senator, Katie Pritt, goes on television demanding that the hour be at hand where Donald receive his Nobel Peace Prize.
President Trump is going to win the Nobel Peace Prize, no doubt. You look at what he's done with the Congo and Rwanda. You look at where he is with Pakistan and India and what he's done there. And then you look at this, what everyone talked about but no one thought was possible. He has brought peace to a region that needed stability. He has shown what America First policy actually is.
What the massive ordnance penetrator bombs did was forever rearrange the topography of a mountain, one in which apparently none of the enriched uranium that was the target of the bombing was present at. And even so, the centrifuges buried deep in the reactor, according to the intelligence assessments, were not destroyed. And yet, the fantasy is demanded as fact and that it be embraced by everybody in the name of patriotism. It's sick, it's a lie, and it's dangerous, and nobody should get in line with the demented ravings of either Pete Hegseth or Donald Trump. One of the sicknesses of this era is the disease of appeasement, the rolling over by so many people who should have known better, including the Secretary General of NATO, who beclowned himself by calling Trump daddy.
Deborah Haynes from Sky News. Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No. He did it very affectionately. Daddy, you're my daddy.
What an embarrassment. These people are entrusted with incredible power and responsibility for the safety of not just hundreds of millions of people in dozens of nations, but the lives of the men and the women who stand at the front. And these are not serious people. And because they are not serious, and because Trump is filled with malice and venom, what happens is, on each occasion, when they meet these forces, venom and malice versus appeasement, venom and malice win. And so the world is spiraling. It is today profoundly more dangerous than it was on January 20th. And I just want to show you some of the insanity. I just want to tell you that the price is coming closer, and we will all pay it. I just want to tell you that the catastrophe is coming closer. And soon, we will be past the last exit ramp where it can be avoided. Donald Trump has seized power that no president has ever asserted in the United States. All of the institutions designed to check it have failed in the executive branch and in the legislative branch. The courts have not, but they are strained, and there is great corruption in the judiciary branch and in the federal judiciary. And so it's up to the American people to put a check on the insanity. And when you think about insanity, and it is the right word, imagine the insanity of an American Secretary of Defense demanding patriotic obedience and flag waving behind his failed attack that did not accomplish what it set out to accomplish, did not disarm the Iranians, did not obliterate the enriched uranium, did not break their will to possess a nuclear weapon, did none of the things that the attack was supposed to do. And yet, the political demand is Trump's a war hero. No, it's madness, and none of these people can be trusted. They lack the moral authority to lead this nation, which they have divided into yet another Middle Eastern war. They cannot be trusted because they, all of them, are liars or degenerates or both or crazy or cult members or all of the above. This is the most unfit security cabinet in the history of the United States, and it is absolutely the bottom dregs of the barrel in the atomic age. God help us all.
I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning. I invite you to join this community where I promise to be honest, blunt, and direct about what is happening in this country. America is in crisis. Follow and subscribe to this channel and on Substack. Thank you.